Hi there. This screencast will provide a quick update of some of the new features you'll find in Curix Strata Beta 7. First, let's take a look at the thing we're calling data bookmarks. I just pasted in a URL from Yahoo. It's sort of like an API in URL form that provides real-time stock information in a CSV format. You can take a look at our blog post on January 7, 2008 for a bit more information on this API. Alright, this table shows all the standard information like company name, share price, change from yesterday's close. We're going to do a couple things to it, and then we're going to see how it refreshes with the latest data. First, let's create a calculated field that shows the dollar change as a percentage. We'll take the dollar change and divide it by the price of the stock. We'll multiply by 100, and then we'll call it percent. Now let's create a mark that shows all of today's stocks that have actually decreased in price. We'll mark all records where the percent is less than 0. And then we'll just go ahead and change the color to red. Now the cool thing is you can just refresh this data by clicking on the refresh icon. And not only that, but our calculated fields and marks will change accordingly. Now we'll go ahead and create a bookmark on our link toolbar. And then we'll change the name to something a bit more legible. And finally we'll close out the table. Then we'll click on the bookmark to reopen the table, and as expected, the data is up to date with the latest information. As a practical application of this, at Curix, we've got some web analytics tables that update daily, which we like to look at on a regular basis. Being able to just bookmark the table directly from our intranet and then open it up with the latest data has been absolutely great as far as efficiency goes. It's also been really useful for collaborating with teammates at different locations. Okay, the second thing I'll show off is a new feature that we're calling Quick Filter, which makes it really easy to filter data in your table. So we'll go over to our Find Filter box and we'll just type in NYSE for the New York Stock Exchange. And then we'll click Find Next and skip to the cells that contain this information. However, we can also just toggle the Quick Filter button, which will collapse all records that meet the criteria. And as before, you can also use the Find Filter box to create a bit more complex formulas. And here we'll just replicate the one used in our mark. Again, we can find Next on the records or simply toggle the Quick Filter. And the last feature we're going to look at is our new report writer. Here, we're looking at a check register table, which includes all the invoices paid to various vendors. In this case, we want to create a report that shows all the individual detail items grouped by vendor name and number. So we'll go ahead and create a new report, and what we see first is the report's design view. And now the first thing we'll do is select a source table for the report, and then secondly, we'll want to add some fields, so we'll open up the column list. Then we'll drag the invoice number, the invoice date, and the amount into the details section. And then we'll also want to go ahead and add some headers so we know what each of these columns represent. In this case, invoice, date, and amount. And then we'll go ahead and toggle to the layout view to see what the printed report looks like. And we see that there's quite a bit of space here between the rows. And so we'll go back and we'll just remove that extra space. And now we see the report is just a bit tighter. And finally, we'll just add a little bit of extra space here between the columns. Okay, now we'll go back and add our grouping information. So we open the settings dialog and then drag in the vendor name and number into the grouping box. And now we see that we've got two new sections that have been added to our template, the group footer and the group header. And so to display the group, we just add the vendor name and number into the group header area. And now we'll just take a look and see how the report's coming along. Here we see the vendor number and the name, and then all the related detail. Okay, now let's go back and do some formatting. First, we'll indent the detail so the group information is just a bit more visible in the report. Then I'll open up the format panel and change the font size. And finally, we'll do the same with the properties of the header. And then we'll take a look. And oops, I forgot to indent the header, so we'll make that quick change as well. And there we have it. In about 2 minutes, we created a report, and that's pretty much ready for printing. Thanks for taking a look at Curix Strata Beta 7. There are still some bugs lurking in each of these areas, but try it out for yourself and let us know what you think. Thanks.